Hello, friends. How are you? I hope you guys are doing okay. I know I've been a little bit MIA again, but you know, I just never know when I'm going to be able to get on and do some things. I just don't know. I'm so sorry. But I'm going to get on here today and we're going to do something. We are. I think I'm also going to do my hair today too. So I'm going to do something different. Don't know. Might go old school. I didn't feel like washing my hair. Didn't feel like getting it wet. So I got some old tools out. I do. I got some old tools out today. I've got curling iron. I've got this thing out that I've used once or twice and I'm not sure, twisty turny thing. It's supposed to do some stuff. And then, you know, got the wand out too, which I haven't used it in a while. So we will see what we're going to do. And how do I turn this one on? I forgot. It's plugged in, ain't it? Thought I plugged it in. Done that. I locked it. Or do you not lock it first? Oh, I have to turn it on inside here. That makes sense. Then you turn that, and then you go like that. Okay. And then for this one, power on here. And do that. Alrighty then. So, but you know, I got my base on. I got my blush on. And then we're going to go in with the SASsies palette by saintsangelssinners. We got a collab going on, SASsie Collab, and I will link everybody that's going to be in it. So I'm going to go in and so I get on here and I got my primer on and all that good stuff. I thought I would come on and I might just kind of tell you a little bit of some stories of when I was kind of younger, which one of them is like pistachio. I know how everybody just loves pistachios, but I do not like pistachios. And for one reason, I haven't had them for a while, and I will tell you why. Let me get some, first let me put something on my lips. Because they're feeling kind of, yeah. We got to get something on them. Where is something I can put on them? Let's put some fat oil on them. But when I was young, I was probably like 7 or 8 years old, I would say. And my sister, no, I was a little bit older than that. My sister probably turned 16. My older sister. So I would have been, she turned 16. I would have been 9 because I would have turned 10. I would turn 10 then a couple weeks later. She turned 16 on the 12th. I would have turned 10 on the 25th. And she had a boyfriend, or 15. I think she was turning 15. Yeah, she would turn 15. I was going to turn 9. And she had a boyfriend. And we will call him Harry. And he made her a pistachio cake. And I think he was like 17, 18. He was like 17, I think. And he had a car and drove, and back then, it was like late 70s, early 80s. I can't even remember. It was probably, yeah, late 70s. So, and he kind of had long hair. My dad did not like him. No. So my dad worked second shift. So he would come over during the week while my dad was gone. So, and his name was Harry. And, oh my goodness, he made her a pistachio cake. Well, you know, and her best friend was his sister. And her name was Ann. And Ann said, you know, he just washed those pans and mixers and everything he used. He just washed them really well in Dawn dish soap. And, you know, back then we had tubs. You know, you had your dish pans. You had one that you washed and one that you rinsed. Well, I guess Harry didn't know that you're supposed to rinse your dishes pretty well, and you change your rinse water every now and then. Well, he come over. The cake looked really pretty. You know, it was green because green's my sister's favorite color. And bit into it. And it was a super moist cake. But you could blow bubbles. I guess what Harry forgot to do was he forgot to actually really rinse that dish soap off of everything that he washed. Oh, yes. It was, yeah. So every time I taste something pistachio, I taste Dawn dish soap. Yeah. But I mean, he was a super nice guy, you know. He could always, every time he come over, he always gave my little brother at that time. See, at that time, Karen and Douglas weren't born yet. So it was just Michael. So every time he come over, he always gave Michael a bunch of those little super bouncy balls. He always had those balls. And he got, my mother always told him, said, Harry, I penalize you every time you do that because he always gets those balls and they go bouncing everywhere, and he's going to wind up breaking one of my knickknacks. Because my mom, you know, she had knickknacks all over. And at that time it was, oh, what was that? Home interior. What was that? Interior. I know one of you guys out there is screaming it. I know you are. Home interior. That's what it was. Home interior. That home interior was a big thing back then. Oh, it was cheap. But everybody had home interior parties. Oh, yeah, they did. And everybody was making the dry cakes. No, you did not have anything moist back then. No moist cakes back then. Unless you that's when I started baking. I think I baked my first cake back then too. But yeah, it was just, but that cake, it was, I mean, it was nice. You know, nice gesture, nice thought. Sitting here trying to eat it. And, you know, my brother, I think Michael would have been 3 maybe. So, you know, he's going to say something. My sister Elizabeth, she was probably around 8. So, at least I know she said something. So yeah, it was it was not good. But I mean, and Harry, he was hairy too. He had, for 17, he had a beard, mustache. I mean, he really was 17 years old. I'm hiding what I'm doing. I mean, he really was 17 years old. But he, yeah, long hair. Might have to might change the color of this one. I've got some. I'm gonna have to scoot over here. I got some sunlight now interfering with me. Scoochy over here now. Woohoo! And then that was a story on that one. I think I want to deepen this up a little bit. I'm going to go back into this lighter one. And then I also dated a Harry. It was also, yes. And that was his actual name. And, oh, I can't remember. What it was is I had a friend, and she was dating this guy. And his best friend. And at that time, I had just broken up with my boyfriend. And and Kathy is like, Deb, Harry will not leave us alone. Would you please go on a double date with him? Would you please go out on a date with him? I'm like, no. And she's like, please go out. She said, we do not have any time alone. He is always there. Every time. Said, and they won't say nothing to him. I'm like, oh. I'm like, okay, I will. I said, I will. Oh, and what I'm going in with right now is I'm going in with, I went in with Saint, Nani, Sinner, then a little of this, what is it? Thabo. That's what I've done so far. And I don't know which one. I think I'm going to go in with March Madness. I'm going to use that in the center here. But yeah, she was like, please, you've got to do something for me. So, you know, a couple times, you know, I went over there and sat and talked to him, and we played games, you know, watched TV a few times, and then I finally went out on a date. Come pick me up, but he was one of those guys that when he talked to you, he did not look you in the eye. And I just can't, I can't deal with that. When he looked at me, he always when he talked to me, he always looked like this. He always looked sideways or up in the air, or, you know, he never looked straight at you. And I could not stand that. That just, I don't know, it just kind of creeped me out a little bit. So, I don't know. It just, I felt very uncomfortable or something. I don't know. Just something about it. So, you know, we went out and, we went to get a pizza, went to Castanos. It was, you know, we went to Castanos. It was nice. It was all right. But there was just something, I don't know. There was just, the conversation wasn't all that great. And like I said, he would not look at me. So, you know, I did take like a little headache. I know, it was bad. And I had him take me home. And when I went home, my mom was like, she's like, Deborah, what are you doing? Yeah, my mom never called me Debbie. Never called me Debbie. It was either Deborah or Eileenie the Meanie. So, because my middle name's Eileen. So, she always called me Eileenie the Meanie. So, we, you know, and I told her, I said, you know, I just feel uncomfortable. You know, he just does not look you in the eye. He just made me feel uncomfortable. I'm just blah, 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 blah. And I got stuff all over my face now. I got shimmer all over my face, but that's okay. But I'm like, Mom, I said, I just can't. I said, I just had to come home. I said, I just felt uncomfortable. I mean, I was only gone an hour and a half. My mom was like, no, that is not you. You are out until the very last second, till time for you to come home, which was true. And then a lot of times I was late. 90% of the times I was late. But anyway. Oh man, that is bleeding like crazy. We'll figure something else out here in a minute. But, so, and of course, Kathy calls me. Why are you home already? Because, you know, of course, I guess Harry went straight from there, over there. So, and I told her, and she was like, well, you got to give him another chance. And I'm like, no. Well, my dad and my mom said the same thing. You got to give him another chance. And I'm like, dang, you guys are terrible. So, you know, he called and he asked me out again. And gave him another chance. Well, when he picked me up this time, my dad was home. And he answered the door. So, he answered the door and, you know, I guess he talked to him, you know, blah, 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 so on and so forth. And then, so we went out, we went to eat, went to the movies. I stayed out this time. I come home. Most worst kisser in the world. I mean, you want to talk about somebody that was penalized for everything in the world. This was the most moist, super nasty. I mean, my whole face was covered in lips. It was gross. It was just super gross. I would have rather, I mean, I would have rather kissed a big old hairy gorilla. Yes, I would have. And then to actually kiss Harry. But I didn't. So I figured, at least I owed him at least that kiss. One. Well, okay. So I run inside. He's not getting another kiss. I am running inside. And so he calls the next day, and I talk to him for a minute. And I'm like, that's it. I'm just talking to him for a minute, and then that's... I am going to darken that up just a little bit over here. Talked to him for a minute. Nothing, never said, not his girlfriend, nothing here or there, whatever. And this is not a guy who is stupid or anything. I mean, he played all of the sports, he played baseball, softball, basketball, football, all that, But I just don't know what his problem was. But he thought that we were like an item or something, or dating or whatever. And then, and my dad wanted to know the next day what his problem was. Said, he does not look at you. Said, he did not look at me the whole time. I'm like, I know, right? I said, that was what my issue is. I can't stand it. He does not look at me. And then he called the next day, and come over the next day. And I'm like, I'm not home. I said, I'm not here. And my mom's like, well, where are you? I said, I don't know, but I'm not home. Which my mom and dad was like, that's really weird for Deb to say she's not home for a boy. Because I'm boy crazy. I mean, boy crazy. I said there was really only one guy I would never date, and that was my neighbor, David. His name was David. I won't say his last name. We'll just call him David Balls. But, said that was the only guy I would never date. Which pretty much was true. No, I'm just kidding. But, yeah, we, and then Harry, yeah. But he come over. I said, just tell him I am not here. I don't care where. Just tell him I'm not home, and I'm not going to be home today. So, of course, Kathy calls, and she's like, why aren't you home, Deb? I said, I am not going out with him again. I said, you're going to have to find somebody else. I said, he is weird. I said, I just can't do it. I said, besides just being weird, I said, he's a terrible kisser. I said, I'm not having that. I said, but I can't deal with him. I said, he is just really strange. Well, after that thing go by and go back to school, and he just gets this thing, I guess, that we're dating, because, meet me by my locker, which I'm like, no. And he would, like I said, he would come by the house all the time, and I just kept on. I would send my little sister out, who was probably, 4 maybe at the time, and I would tell her, I said, go tell him I'm out with my boyfriend. And, you know, she was 4 or 5. She would love doing that. And I would be inside the house. I just hated it. It was just awful. I mean, he was, I don't know. I wouldn't have been surprised if I heard that he was a serial killer. I mean, that's terrible. What is it with this one right here? See all of this? And this is my fault because, you know, I go in heavy with the glitter. With the, not the glitter, this shimmer. The multi-chromes and all of that. I just go in heavy. But I don't know. It was just, he was probably one of the weirdest boyfriends I had. I mean, he was a farmer, which that was nothing because, you know, I grew up on my grandparents were at farm. I grew up on a farm most of my life. I dated a farmer most of the guys I dated were farmers. So, you know, that was nothing that bothered me. And yeah, he always had, and sports, I mean, he would talk about sports nonstop. And he had every kind of ball you could imagine in back of his car. So he could. And he would go in and he'd watch cartoons with my brother. He could sit there on the floor and watch cartoons with my brother, which I was like, fine, you go ahead, you do what you want to do. Because I could really care less, to tell you the truth. I would rather either that and leave me alone. But he would come around all the time. He would come out and just sit outside and wait for me. He would go over to the school and just wait, because we lived right across the school from the elementary, right across the street from the elementary school. And he would just go over there and wait and wait and wait. And it was like I was being stalked. So I would sometimes have the guy, my neighbor across the street, we were friends. We didn't date, we were friends. And I would have him pull in the alley with his car to take me somewhere. To pull in the alley. And then I'd make sure that, you know, Harry could see that I was in his car. Did that bother him? No. He'd still be sitting in that stupid truck or in his little Cavalier. I think that's what it was. No, it was a Pinto. I take that back. He had a little Pinto. Oh, God. And then another time, me and my friend at the time, Angie, she was my best friend. Her sister was married to my older brother, Roger. Roger and Tammy, they lived down the street. Well, Tammy did. Roger was in the service, and she lived down the street. So Angie would come over, and we would babysit sometime. And there was this guy that come one time around, and we were talking to him. And I remember that they had a Pinto. And I remember that they come around and they were knocking on our door, on my door, my parents' door it had to be 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. So you know that they probably been drinking. And I know they were older than us, a lot older. We were probably, me and Angie at that time were probably about 14, 15 years old. So we were, I just used the Essence primer, and now I'm going in with the Hold and Curl from Essence. And in our one front room, it was down the hall was nothing but windows. And then in the front room was nothing but windows. I mean, it was just windows all around. Well, we kept on hearing somebody knocking on windows. And I was like, what the heck? I mean, it scared the heck out of me. Scared, I mean, really did scare the heck out of me. And Dad, you know, woke up and was looking to see what it was. And he had his gun. You didn't mess with my dad. Well, they kept on, and he opened up the front door. He finally seen him. He opened up the front door, and he let that gun go. I mean, he was shooting it up in the air. But that, I remember they did have a Pinto, and that Pinto went around that corner on 2 wheels. And I remember one of them was Mike, one of them was Jackie. See, there was Mike, Jackie, I think there was Jimmy, and there was another one, I can't remember his name. But, I mean, it was hilarious. And Dad was like, I know you know who those guys are. I'm like, I do not know. I mean, yeah, they stopped and they talked to me and Angie, but we don't know who they are. I can't help that somebody stopped and talked to us. But no, we don't know who they are. Well, a few years later, I was 17 years old, and I started dating this one guy named Michael, who happened to have a Pinto. And yes, it turned out to be the same guy. Now, and at that time, me and my mom and my sister-in-law, Tammy, we were redoing my mother's, it's a summer, and we were redoing my mom's room. We were taking everything out. We were taking all the baseboards, all of the woodwork completely off of the trim, everything. Taking the 50 years of paint, the 500 coats of paint off of the wood, sanding it and staining it. We were sanding and staining her floor. And I'll tell you what, that was a hairy job. That was something, that was terrible. Well, I was dating Mike at the time, and Mike would come over and he would help. And then I wanted to get back with the guy that I broke up with. I wanted to start dating him again. They were like, no, you can't, because he's got to help us finish. And then my dad, he realized that Pinto looked familiar. And he was like, is that same Pinto I shot at a couple of years ago? I'm like, Dad, I doubt it. I said, how would I started dating this guy again? Well, yeah. I finally did wind up breaking up with him, but he still come over to the house, though, and helped my mom and Tammy. And I guess he thought he could really help them. I think he was a little bit too preppy for me. I mean, I had nothing against preps, but I myself, I don't know. It's not that I wanted someone... I didn't want a rebel. I didn't want a bad boy, but I didn't want a preppy either. I don't know. It was just confusing. And also, I think my parents really liked him. At least my mom did. My dad did too, so I didn't... Why would you want somebody your parents liked? That sun is gonna get me. Okay. Now, wait a minute. Now, don't judge this when you see this hair. This is one of the reasons that curly girls don't brush their hair either. And I'm using a pick. I'm not using a brush. Woo! You want to talk about some volume? Mama has it. Now, when I was in school, this here would have been a lot shorter, but and this curly. Take it. But I had kind of a... I really did have kind of a interesting dating life, in a way. I had some really pretty good situations sometimes that happen. Yeah, here's a little bit too long to be doing that. See how that happens. What am I going to do with this one? Gosh, I don't know the last time I used a curling iron. It's been a long time. I like the color this looks like in the sun. I think I'd go on the 28th to get my hair redone. And I'm thinking of getting it just a little bit lighter. See, what does this do? How do you use this? I don't know. Then I got a couple wigs down there. I think I'm gonna wash and I'm gonna style those. How is this supposed to do? Is that how it's supposed to work? I don't know. I don't like that. Let's see if I can do it with this. I'm also used to straighten my hair with the curling iron before straighteners came out. Straighten my hair back in the 80s. Or would take and Let me see. I can't curl it like you girls do. That's too much. Or we would, when it was wet, we would braid it. Because even though I have curly hair, braiding it would make it a different, would give it a different texture, a different style. Let's see what this does over here. Oh my gosh, a hairy situation. My hair is going to be penalized. Ow, wow, wow. Penalize my hair. Yeah. Let me take this. Might take that other one. I don't know. Uh-oh, earring fell out. Okay, come on. No, I'm not burning my hair. That's actually heat protected in it. Oh, I don't know if you guys watched a show, but I watched a show the other day. Whole series. Me and hubby did. La Brea. That was good. That was so much better than I expected. Oh my goodness. About the sinkhole that happened, and supposedly, well, it's not true, you know. 1920, I mean, yeah, 2021, and they get taken back to 10,000 BC and find out the government thing back in 10,000 BC that was from 2079 that was doing a project back in, it was just, yeah, it was really good. It was just such a really good show. I was really surprised. And one of the things that kind of surprised me in it too, that I noticed me and my husband were talking about, is that this was actually a show to where there was, I don't remember, there was no cussing in it. And if there was, it wasn't much, and I did not notice it, which is surprising. It shows, you know, you can have a good show without all that horrible language. You don't need all that horrible language. We are going to get 80s. I'll pick my earring up here in a minute. And yes, this is all my hair. And this is being thinned out. And this, I don't care what you say, is my favorite hairspray. Rave 5X Mega Freeze. Yes, it is. If I have my hair dryer in here, I would take it and I would hold my hair up like this. And I'd take my hair dryer and I would hold it and spray it. You guys know the drill. You know the drill on that. No, that one's not going to do it. I'm going to have to plug in my other one. Well, this is about as good as I think it's going to get today. This is about as good as it's going to get. Can't find my teaser comb now. This is how we're gonna go. Now, where's my brush? Oh. See that eye look? Here we go. And we are going to put on the spicy gloss. God, it smells good. And this is it today. This is my super look. We've only been on here for an hour. But we did my hair. We did an eye look. So it's beautiful. I told you a few stories. Whether or not they're good or not, I don't know. I got a whole lot more. I got some really bad stories too. But I got some good stories. I got funny stories. I got, yeah. So this is it. This is my really pretty good eye look. Oh, we need to put a shimmer in there. My goodness. Oh my goodness. We forgot to do that. Let's go in with this one.
Lights were blinking. Are you recording?
Yes, I'm almost done.
I need to reach across there and get my watch off of there. Hope I'm not in the video.
If you are, just say hi.
Hello.
Right there.
Was I?
There, I don't think so. Or so maybe just for a second. I know what I need. Just a little more touch blush. Or something. Where's my blusher brush? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Well, darn it.
I keep seeing that light blink.
What blink?
This blink. I keep seeing this light blink.
Oh,
You haven't noticed it?
no. But this is good. Didn't go in real heavy on the mascara, but this is my hair. If I would do it every day with a, well, it would be a little bit neater if I did go in. But I don't. I can't. I'd rather have it curly. But this is what I would do. But I love you. You're beautiful. You're blessed. And thank you for being with me today. You're wonderful. I need to get me a new chair. I do. And here after I see my doctor, we are going to go on a new health journey. I don't want to call it a weight diet or a weight loss. It is going to be a weight loss journey that we are going on that. But I got to see my doctor first before I start any of this. So, okay. So you guys are going to go with me. I don't want to say be held accountable because I don't, if, you always have, if I fall back on something, I fall back on it. I just get up and start all over again. That's just the way it goes. So, but I just need support. That's what I need. I need support. And so, and we can do this together. If you want to help me, help me. If you want to go with me, let's go on it together. If you guys have any tips, tricks, and ideas, put them in the comments. Most of it is, a lot of it I will be, I'll need some protein ideas because most of it is I'm noticing that I'm more going like vegetarian because I cannot really stand the texture of meat anymore. So basically that's it. I do still some dairy, yogurt, cheese, milk. I do eggs. I do that. But other than that, no. I'm having a really hard time. But the thing of it is that I don't really eat, but the things I do eat is snacks. And I have a terrible time of snacking at night when I can't sleep. And it's not sweet, it's just like my cheese balls. I have a really hard time eating cheese balls. Okay? Don't penalize me on that. Cheese balls is my thing. Cheese balls, yogurt. Yeah, that's my thing. Yep, it's just a hairy situation. So, all right. But I love you guys. And now go aggravate your husbands, okay? Because that's what I'm going to do. I love you. Bye.